much debated Millennium Challenge Corporation Nepal Compact, a US-funded multi-million-dollar agreement, has finally been tabled at the Parliament session. Despite the widespread protest in and outside the House, the political environment now works in favor of the NC-led government that can ratify the bill with a simple majority just before the Washington deadline of February end, when the House convenes next Thursday. Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar, and these are the headlines of the hour. The MCC Nepal Compact finally tabled at the Parliament. The MCC bill to be discussed next Thursday. A simple majority will suffice to ratify MCC. Protest against MCC heats up from the streets to the Parliament. Cadres turn up against ruling parties. Dual stand of top leaders exposed. Unidentified US intelligence say Russian commanders have been ordered to invade Ukraine. The US called Russian military drills in Belarus a worrying sign. And Nepal take on Canada under ICC T20 World Cup global qualifiers. Inspired Nepal looking for semi-final berth with an all-win record. The Millennium Challenge Corporation Nepal Compact has finally been tabled at the Parliament amid stern protest launched by the main opposition and some of the ruling partners. The ruling Nepali Congress, while tabling the American Grant project, has said that the agreement would have no bearing on the sovereignty of the country and that 5 million people would directly benefit from the transport and electric transmission line constructed under the project. The main opposition lawmakers launched a protest at the Parliament yesterday, while government spokesperson and Minister for Communication Gyanendra Bahadur Karki tabled the MCC bill amid the sloganeering by the opposition lawmakers. Some of the leaders from the ruling alliance requested the government not to proceed with the controversial MCC agreement. Stating that the MCC project was against a national interest, CPN Mao Centre viewed that the MCC bill should not be tabled amid the raging protest voice. Leaders of CPN Unified Socialist, a ruling partner, also resorted to sloganeering against the MCC agreement. Meanwhile, the lawmakers from Nepali Congress were quite vocal in their support for the MCC bill. Speaker Agni Sapkota, on his part, said that the bill should now be discussed in the Parliament to quell all concerns surrounding MCC. As per parliamentary regulations, the bill now can be ratified through simple majority. The next parliamentary session has been called for Thursday, 26th of February. Washington has given Nepal a February 28 deadline for the endorsement of the MCC agreement. The MCC Nepal Compact was tabled at the Parliament yesterday amid stern protest by the ruling coalition partners. Some of the coalition partners are enthused, while others are furious by the tabling of the MCC Nepal Compact in the Parliament. The comments from leaders leaving the Parliament building after the tabling of the controversial foreign grant assistance suggest that the current crisis within the ruling alliance has been staved off for the time being. However, the disagreement among the members of the alliance is yet to be solved. The ruling coalition partners, CPN Unified Socialist Chairperson Madhav Kumar Nepal, said that the agreement MCC Nepal Compact could not be ratified from the Parliament without amendment. Likewise, leader Jhalnath Khanal stated that the MCC Compact has divided the nation. Leader Khanal viewed that it was a black day in the country's history. Another ruling coalition partner, Janata Samajwadi Party leader and Minister for Agriculture Mahendra Rai Yadav, stated that discussion was remaining to be held within the party. Meanwhile, leader of Loktantrik Samajwadi Party's Lakshman Lal Karn objected the tabling of the compact, citing that it lacked agreement from the members of the Parliament. Nepali Congress General Secretary Gagan Thapa claimed that the opposition leaders have united to work together. Meanwhile, the main opposition party leader Yogesh Bhattrai blamed that the ruling partners have been showing a dual stand. CPN Mao Centre Chairperson Pushpa Kamal Dahal, who donned a pensive mood while the compact was being tabled at the Parliament, later took to the social media to protest against the MCC bill. Dahal, through social media, said that his party would stand against the move. The scenario is likely to further escalate the disagreement within the ruling coalition. The main opposition, CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma Oli, instantly held discussions with his faction in the Parliament itself following the tabling of the compact. The UML leaders, however, left the Parliament building without any comment. It turned out to be quite an eventful day yesterday, as there was widespread protest in the streets against the tabling of the US-funded MCC grant program. A sizable cadre of the ruling partners, among others, turned up on the streets of the capital to protest against the controversial bill. The Maitighar-Baneshwar section of the road remained tense throughout the day yesterday, reducing the capital traffic to chaos. More in this report.
The security was beefed up around Baneshwar area since office hours today. The demonstrators earlier were seen in small groups. However, as the House session began around 1 in the afternoon, it was greeted by massive protests in the Baneshwar area with sloganeering against the Washington-funded grant project. The cadres of the ruling partners CPN Mao Center and Unified Socialist were quite vocal in their sloganeering against the MCC Nepal Compact. The other spontaneous groups also joined the cadres of the sister organizations of the protesting political parties. The demonstration turned violent as the protesters started breaching the security cordon and also resorted to hurling stones at the security present in the area. The security retaliated as they used water cannon to disperse the protesters. Failing to bring the situation under control, the police fired 100 rounds of tear gas and 34 rubber bullets. The security had cordoned the protesters at the Everest Hotel region, but they were helpless in front of the surging demonstrators. It was only after 4 in the afternoon that the protests subsided. However, there were sporadic demonstrations in the Bijli Bazaar area as the protests continued to hurl stones at the security forces. The police speculated that there were around 7 groups involved in today's demonstrations. Dozens of protesters were injured in the scuffle today. Some 47 demonstrators were arrested, while 20 security personnel were also injured.
The government has increased the price of petroleum products 6 times in the past 7 months, which has increased the price of daily consumable goods, cost of construction of infrastructures, among others. However, the government has shown no intention of lowering the tax imposed on petroleum products. In the petrol bought from India at 91 rupees per litre, the government has levied 8 types of taxes to sell it at 145 rupees per litre. The government is collecting a litre over 58 rupees tax on a litre of petroleum product, out of which customs tax is 25 rupees and value-added tax is 16 rupees. The government collected 98 billion rupees in tax from the sales of petroleum products in the last fiscal year alone. As the consumption of petroleum products has increased, it has been projected that the government will collect tax of over 100 billion rupees through its sales this year. Even as taxes collected from the sales of petroleum products are spent on renewable energy in neighboring countries, the fund collected in our country is spent on providing salaries to political leaders and government employees. As the price of petroleum products is expected to rise in the international market in the coming days as well, energy experts opine that the tax collected from the sales of petroleum products should be used properly and the government should implement policies to increase the use of renewable energy. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked in several provinces, why haven't the efforts to minimize road accidents been effective? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
चालकहरूलाई गुणस्तरीय तालिम नभएको कारणले गर्दा
बाटोघाटो गुणस्तरीय छैन,
ट्राफिक चेक जाँच समय-समयमा नहुनुको कारण
20 वर्ष पुराना गाडी भएको कारणले
लाइसेन्स नभएर पनि उनीहरूले सञ्चालन गरिरहेका छन्, चलाइरहेका छन्।
सडक सुरक्षा सम्बन्धी ज्ञानको कमी भएको कारणले
गल्तीमा पर्छ कि सिधा बाटोमा पर्छ कि त्यो ख्याल नगरिकन ओभरटेक गर्दिने।
ड्राइभरले चलाउँदाखेरि एकदम ध्यानपूर्वकसँग चलाउनु पर्छ।
Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question, why has the government been indifferent on decreasing the tax levy despite repeated hike in the price of petroleum products? Your options are A, no voices raised, B, oil-based revenue, and C, lack of income sources. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Let's move on to sports update.
Sports news brought to you by Lakshmi Steel, नेपालमै guaranteed #1 quality. साधारण bulb भन्दा उज्यालो Vega LED bulb भविष्य उज्यालो छ. Dish Home Fibronate presents Megafy खुशीको upgrade.
Team Nepal is taking on Canada under the ICC T20 World Cup Global Qualifiers. The match at Al Amirat ground in Oman is slated for 3:45 p.m. kickoff as Nepal gear up for a semi-final spot, remaining undefeated in the group stage. Nepal are likely to top Group B considering their recent form. Oman are likely to finish second, while Canada also have a mathematical chance of progressing provided they defeat Nepal with a heavy margin, which at the moment seems unlikely. Meanwhile, in Group A, UAE are at the top of the points table, while Bahrain are placed third and Ireland in the second place. Ireland take on Germany, while Bahrain are pitted against UAE in Group A matches slated for today. The two finalists confirmed their place for the upcoming T20 World Cup in Australia later this year. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good day.